Welcome back to 7th Circle Gaming. Today on the channel we're going to be discussing Forza Horizon 4. And we'll get started here as we always do with full disclosure. Pause the video now and read them a little more closely if you like. Right now we're going to move on because we have a couple of screenshots to show off. Mostly of the perspectives that are available to players in the game. The first is the first-person perspective, the in-car perspective. There is some variation around this, and all of the user interface settings that we can see, like the minimap and the tachometer, etc., are adjustable through in-game settings. There's also a third-person view that players might choose to play the game through with, and again, all of the user interface is adjustable. So having said that, let's move on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what the game is like and how it attempts to immerse players into the game world. As we just said, the game can be played in either a first or third person view. There is some variation around that concept of first and third. Players are given the opportunity to create a custom character and to customize their cars. And there are some other things that players can choose to purchase in like cars or in-game player housing, which are also going to be another opportunity for the game to pull players into the game world, making that decision. The game also attempts to use statistics focus to immerse players into the world, because all of these cars and all of the parts of the vehicle have some amount of customization that can be done and statistics to examine. Obviously, players that are more interested and have more understanding of how that works are going to get more out of it than players that don't, but the game does a reasonable job of teaching players about what those do and explaining itself. The game also is going to be attempting to use audio to immerse players into its game world. There's a fair amount of stereotypical car noises, like accelerating, braking, that sort of thing, and licensed music to pull players into the game world. There is a fair amount of challenge that the game is going to attempt to use to immerse players into the game world. That's adjustable, but it is also there. That need to get that first place finish and get all the extra bonuses attached to that, or to obtain in-game trophies, in-game rewards. So, overall, for Immersion, the game is earning a 14 out of 15. What about difficulty? For difficulty, the game has earned a 15 out of 15 and absolutely earns that. Almost every aspect of the game is adjustable via some in-game menu. It requires some looking around, but it's absolutely there. We've mentioned already that the user interface is adjustable. We can see too that there's adjustability for things like tire wear, damage, whether or not the car has an automatic, a manual with delay, or full manual gearbox setting. So it has absolutely earned that 15 out of 15 top marks. And let's move on, because we do need to talk about lasting appeal. And where lasting appeal is there is an open world to explore, and the ability to create liveries or custom graphics for the cars is going to keep players coming back to the game. And there is a fair amount of downloadable content for the game, But since this is a bit of an older game in the series, it is a bit lower cost, we will admit that, but there are newer games in the series available, and there is no mod support. Having said all that, the game is fundamentally just racing around a course with various rules applied to it, and in-game awards earned by doing various things. So for that reason, the game is earning a 12 out of 15. Now then, that's going to bring us around to the final analysis. Where does the game stand? The game is earning an average score of 13.6 out of 15, which I believe is the highest score yet seen on the channel. Now, if we put on our subjectivity hats for a moment here, I will say that the character customization is largely superfluous. The only person that's going to really see that is the player, so it really doesn't seem to matter all that much. On the other hand, putting our objectivity hats back on, there are a very significant, or very substantial, number of ways to engage with the game. There's playing through the various challenges, obtaining in-game trophies, or designing custom liveries, custom graphics, or just looking through the marketplace to create custom cars. And the amount of creativity on display in that marketplace is, frankly, beyond explanation, for want of a better phrase. It is somewhat limited by the nature of the racing genre, that it's all just racing around a course in some form or fashion. On the other hand, playing the game with a gamepad or some other controller like a wheel and pedals is going to increase the immersion and keep players coming back to it. Now, and this is something of an objective, something of a subjective note. The first time players load up the game, there is going to be a little bit of frustration here, as they are going to need to manipulate their network settings and get into menus, maybe Google some things to make sure that they're able to enjoy all of the features of Forza Horizon 4. So do be prepared for looking through menus and config settings. And that's really all I've got to say about Forza Horizon 4. It is a game that, in my subjective mode, I would say is absolutely worth picking up. It's a bargain option over the other newer games in this series, and it will run on a lower spec system. So, thank you for putting on the objectivity hat again. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. Feel free to leave a suggestion in the comments section below, or leave your own opinions about the game. And you can also see a list of games that are coming soon on 7th Circle Gaming. Thank you very much. And